What's up guys, Alistair here. So on June 5th I decided to go to London and meet up with the lovely Clayton. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. He came all the way from America to see the film early, so if that doesn't deserve a subscribe, I don't know what will. Well, we went to the BFI IMAX for the midnight screening of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Clayton and the guys behind the DPG website and I were literally jumping up and down with excitement. If there's one thing you must know about me, it's that I absolutely love the Jurassic Park franchise. It's something that I hold very dear to me. I put it alongside Godzilla and Halo as being one of my favourite things in the world. There was Jurassic World iconography all over London, from a full-size T-Rex standing in King's Cross Station to posters plastered all over the city. They went all out. I felt like a kid again. This was different from watching a normal movie. This was an event for me, but with that noted, I'm not going to hold out on some of the film's criticisms here. Now, to start off this review, let me say that this will be spoiler-free, so don't worry if you haven't seen it yet. The film yet again stars Chris Pratt as Owen Grady and Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire Dearing, but also some returning characters like Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm and BD Wong as Dr. Henry Wu. 4 years after Jurassic World closes down, the island's dormant volcano begins roaring to life. Owen and Claire mount a campaign to rescue the remaining dinosaurs from this extinction-level event. So, does Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom live up to the hype? I can safely say yes. This film is rich with atmosphere. J.A. Bayona has done a terrific job directing this film. After doing things like The Orphanage and A Monster Calls, there's no one better to pull off this dark and atmospheric set pieces in the film. And when I say dark and atmospheric, I mean dark and atmospheric. There are many scenes in this film that will stick with you even after the film is over, whether that's a sad and emotional scene or a scary, intense moment in the film. And believe me, there's at least one moment that's going to make you tear up. It's not the darkest Jurassic Park film by any means. I still think The Lost World holds that trophy, but in regards to its themes, it's definitely the darkest and most mature, and it holds a message that I think a lot of people could take to heart. If you just sit and think about some of the actions that are going on, it can really show the horrors of humanity and the lengths they will go for their own selfish gain, which is a concept I love seeing in movies. Hell, Godzilla as a whole is a metaphor for the horrors of mankind. The pacing of this film is very well done. It makes sure to always keep you on your toes. There isn't a single dull moment in the film. You know, in some films where it just gets that part and you're like, God, I hate this bit, it's so boring, just skip it. Well, there isn't really a moment like that in this film. There's always at least something going on that makes sure that you're invested in where the story goes. Be advised that the first act is very fast-paced, and Clayton even referred to it similarly to Mad Max Fury Road, which I can definitely see. It was a little jarring how fast everything was going, but if you go into the film knowing that it's meant to be a quick in-and-out operation, you'll enjoy it a lot more. Even when the story moves into its second and third act, though there's less happening visually, it doesn't become any slower, which just goes to show some of the excellent directing and editing skills present. Action isn't always about explosions and things moving quickly. You can have an action scene even in a conversation if done right. If you've watched Danny Boyle's Steve Jobs movie from 2015, you'll know how intense a standoff between two people can really be. And that is the magic of brilliant screenwriting.
It's overpriced.
There's no evidence that it's...
I'm the evidence! I'm the world's leading expert in the Mac, John. What's your resume?
Now let's talk about the characters. Chris Pratt returns as the man every guy wishes they were, Owen Grady, and he's living a more secluded life when the Fallen Kingdom begins. His character hasn't changed too much, and his morals haven't really changed. However, he seems to hold a resentment towards some of the dinosaurs he left behind, notably Blue, but it's fairly obvious that he's mainly trying to hide his emotions and that he really does miss his friend. Every Jurassic Park film has a unique main character, whether that's a paleontologist or a chaos theorist. This time we have someone who has had training in the US Navy, and this allows for him to get knee-deep in the action in a way that we haven't really seen in a Jurassic Park film before. And his relationship with Blue does feel a lot more fleshed out in this film. It very much feels like the story of a man and his dog. except his dog is a velociraptor. Claire Dearing, as you might have seen from the trailers, has completely changed. She's just as, if not more important to the plot than even Owen Grady. She's transformed from a by-the-numbers businesswoman to this caring and kind person that just really wants to correct some of the wrongs made in the past. She's had quite an obvious downgrade from the high-tech theme park, and the first shot of her is a nice callback to when you first see her in Jurassic World. This opening establishes her character change, and it's really nicely put together, and she's pretty much resourceful throughout the movie. Let's talk about some of the new characters. First up, we have Zia Rodriguez, played by Danielle Pineda. She plays a sort of renegade character, a paleobiologist. Yes, that's a real thing. She's interesting because she's not really like anything we've had before. They didn't just choose another generic scientist to have alongside them. They made a character that stands out and you'll remember. She's not really the most impactful person in the franchise, but she's a welcome addition. The second addition to Claire's team is Franklin Webb, portrayed by Justin Smith. He's a programmer and a major geek, and plays a sort of comic relief for the film, but he never gets on your nerves. He's genuinely quite unexpectedly funny at times, which is relieving because his scream in the trailer was a warning that he could become annoying, but luckily I was wrong, and he had me laughing in the film. Plus, he's not a major role in the film, he's more of a side character. Now, without going too much in the film, I absolutely adore Rafe Spall as Eli Mills and Toby Jones as Mr. Eversole. They perfectly present the exaggerated characters with a similar presence to Peter Ludlow in The Lost World. Now, some people are going to refer to them as cartoony and that they're fairly one-dimensional, but they stand as the basis for the greed of humanity and show the places some humans will go for their own selfish benefit, and I think it fits the film perfectly. Also, Ted Levine plays Ken Wheatley, a mercenary hunter that's hired to assist Owen and Claire in the capturing of the dinosaurs, and he is a blast to watch. He seems like he's having so much fun just playing the character, and you can't help but smile when you see him on camera. He has this recurring thing that goes on through the film that I just find so funny, but genius. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you watch the film. Finally, I absolutely love the Indoraptor, and yes, you'll notice I'm calling the Indoraptor a character. Its presence on screen is so haunting. It's the closest the series has ever got to a monster, and this thing does not hold back. Whilst the Indominus Rex was basically just a big intelligent T-Rex, the Indoraptor is unbelievably smart and cunning. And the idea that this thing is an incomplete specimen and that's it's ill and sick and it's just in constant pain just makes it that much more impactful. You almost feel satisfied when it starts getting out and killing people because it's almost as if it's seeking revenge, but in a convincing way that's sure to give the parents nightmares. Now, we can't talk about a Jurassic Park film without talking about the dinosaur effects. This is a tricky one. Right off the bat, the visual effects far exceed that of the first Jurassic World, but it still has an over-reliance on CGI that can leave a sour taste in your mouth, especially when some of the practical effects look so good. It's not necessarily a visually consistent film. A handful of the shots look bad, like really bad. But then a lot of the shots are absolutely gorgeous. An example of the visual effects being great would be with the Indoraptor. Pretty much every shot it's in is fantastic, with brilliant lighting and animation that easily matches up to that of Smaug from The Hobbit. And I'd say that's most likely down to the team having a puppet that will be used on set for the effects artist to use as a reference point for the CGI department. There's a clear night and day difference from when they use these techniques and when they don't. One example of when the effects are really bad are when they even break the rule of not using CGI models for a close-up. There's an extreme close-up of Blue in the third act of the film, and it's entirely computer generated and it looks awful. Luckily, the scenes following it looked good, and it doesn't really tarnish the experience as a whole. No Jurassic Park film comes without that really bad CGI shot. Jurassic Park may still hold up to this very day with some excellent and smart uses of CGI, and even though Fallen Kingdom may not have the smartest use of CGI at times, the models themselves and their detail are vastly superior, and the shot of the Brachiosaurus on the island may be one of the best looking computer generated effects I've ever seen on a film. They also do a lot of combining CGI with the practical effects, and most of the time it looks great and only makes the dinosaurs feel that more lifelike. The best example is probably with the T-Rex in its cage. They can add a more dynamic eye movement and mouth snarls, and it looks really great. To close this review, I'm going to speak out on a lot of the negative reactions this film has been getting. It's a real shame that some of these poor reviews might deter some people from watching it, but if you're on the fence about seeing it, I definitely recommend it. I can see why some people may not like the film, because it does go in quite a different direction to any other Jurassic Park movie, and some people are saying that that's a mistake or a fault, and at least in my eyes, they couldn't be more wrong. We should always be open to new ideas and experiences, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a film that's going to leave images ingrained into your minds. Every time you see it, there's little story hints that you didn't catch the first screening, and there's nods and references to Crichton's novels. I've seen this film 4 times now, and in one of the screenings I went to, there was a few kids in the cinema that were just so excited by the film, and they were clapping and cheering for the dinosaurs, and I specifically remember one of them saying, "Welcome to Jurassic World," during one of the moments in the film, and it reminded me a lot of myself when I was younger. These kids are going to grow up loving these kinds of movies, and knowing that more generations of people of all ages will be able to enjoy these movies and dinosaurs in general, that does put a smile on my face. Fallen Kingdom is something that I'm never going to forget, and even though there are some shortcomings or some missed opportunities, it's still a fantastic movie with some awesome set pieces and a rich atmosphere, and for that reason, I'm going to give this film 8 out of 10 Malcolms and a big old DangerVille seal of approval. That's it for my review. Bear in mind that these are completely my opinions, but whether you like it or disliked it, be sure to stay civil and respect one another. What did you think of the movie? Did you like it? How many times have you seen it? Post a comment down below and let us know. Remember to hit that subscribe button, it helps us out a lot. I've been your host Alistair, and we'll see you in the next one.